Lynn, I got the following question, but in general, the weather's done a flip-flop all over the world, so I want to just look at this question and think about it in even more of a broader scope. So the question that was sent is, can you do a reading on why the last years in Sweden, winter has arrived every year around the 1st of December, only to be replaced by a thaw around Christmas? Are there forces at work trying to prevent a white Christmas? So, like I said, it seems like the weather's done a flip-flop all over the world, so just in general, what in the world is going on? And as I focus on the weather, yes, it's shifting. I think we all can agree to that. True north is shifting as a toroidal, that's a tongue twister for me, fields shift. And I see our Earth as this huge globular shape. Note globe, really globular. And we just took the word root and created the word globe. Different reading for a different time, and I've already touched on that a little as well. And basically, back to this whole globe thing, we live on just a small portion of this glob. And as we progress through the ages, you know, leaving one and going into the age of Aquarius, as we shift through all these zodiac signs here and the earth shifts, the sun slowly starts to highlight other areas as it moves. So this toroidal field is moving, shifting true north, shifting everything here. And in the process of doing so, the sun impacts it differently. Just everything is changing, and we're witnessing these changes. It impacts the weather in an organic, natural way, making seasons shift slightly, as we've seen within our own lives here. You're going to see later winters. You're going to see nearly absent springs or extra hot summers. Just in our lives, think about when you were a kid, how the weather was and how it is now. That is why, because north is changing, because we're shifting into a new age, which in the process of doing that shifts where this toroidal field is, and everything is interconnected here. On top of all this natural evolution of the ages, we have forced weather manipulation. So we have one thing organically happening, but then we have something else manufactured. The powers that were have some knowledge of our planet, and I always get a crack out of, you know, this whole thing. You know, people talk about flat earth or whatever. Yes, we live on this plane, and it's nonetheless, it is what it is. It's truth in plain sight here. And inevitably, the weather is shifting. This serves twofold. So they have some knowledge of how, you know, these ages shift weather. And then they also have weather manipulation that they're able to control themselves. So one, what are they doing with this? They could maximize on the changes we witness, create a taxable money-making agenda in the name of being green, which the only thing green is the money being made. Let's be real here, people. Two, it got them curious enough to start researching weather manipulation, so when the time came, they could preserve land and be able to grow and live comfortably. This plan then went down a very dark path, as it started in the name of something good for the population, and it turned into a greedy, power-hungry tool that they weaponized. So back to reiterate what I was talking about. All this green stuff, really, what's it doing? Go look at a field where they're mining and extracting, you know, the things that they need to create these batteries. They're destroying the land. Go look at landfills. These things, when they serve their time and end up in a landfill, you know, whether it's a solar panel or a battery or anything else, these things don't just break down and go away, and very few parts of it can even be recycled. So when you really look at what it's doing, I don't see, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's some research out there saying that, hey, all this stuff is 100% beneficial, the land's beautiful, they replaced this, whatever, correct me if I'm wrong and put it in a comment. Then the second part of what I was saying is, because they learned how to weather manipulate and they knew what was going on, they thought that they could counteract it. And by counteracting it, they could preserve land for growing food and all that as we go through these aging processes. But then the greedy people realized, hey, this is powerful and we can use it as a military weaponized tool out there if you can control the weather. So something good turned into something bad. So there's a lot of multifaceted parts of what's really going on here. So in the end, it isn't necessarily to prevent a white Christmas. It's more about seasonal shifts that are being experienced all over the world. And if the powers try to override it for some specific reason, they can, with somewhat unpredictable results. They're like kids in a candy store. They know what they're doing, but they don't really know what they're doing here. In many areas, we experience a horrible ice storm and all this snow and blowing winds. It was so bad, at least where I live, that traveling for Christmas was delayed for a whole lot of people. However, this coming weekend it's going to be 60 degrees. So you go figure. You have -20 wind chill, and next weekend it's going to be 60. So I think many of you have stories like this. This is just one example of places all over the world, and this is where I live right now. This is happening, that the weather is kind of crazy. You know, you got the man-made stuff with the natural stuff combining, and it doesn't always really work out favorably in one way or the other. And that's really all I have for this reading. Thanks so much for listening. Please drop a line, comment below. Let me know what the weather's like in your area. You having something really odd or peculiar going on, and crazy shifts of seasons here. And I guess I will leave you with that. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.